So faith is an important part of my life and any Christian's life. Moses had faith that God would help him take the Israelites out of Egypt. Peter had faith in Jesus as he walked across the water during a large storm. And even now, 2,000 years later, we as Christians have faith that Jesus will come again and defeat Satan and all the sins keeping us from God. I believe that my faith is built upon hope, trust, and understanding God. Last summer, I went to a church camp in Pennsylvania called Camp Sanconnect. When my cousins told my parents about this camp, they were hooked. My brother and I never had been to a church camp before, and they thought this was the perfect opportunity. I, on the other hand, was not that excited. I did not see the point in going away for a week to learn about God and people I did not know. Little did I know that my understanding of God needed to be strengthened, and that the camp was going to be one of my favorite moments in life. So my brother and I loaded up with weeks worth of clothes and our Bibles and set off to camp. Once we got there, I saw kids my age playing pickup soccer and basketball games. So right away, my views about camp were changing for the better. Once my parents said goodbye, I joined the game and started meeting new friends within the first hour of getting there. For the rest of the week, I spent time with my new friends learning about God. It was comforting and powerful to see so many kids just like me growing in their faith and learning more about God's plan for each of our lives. Within that week, my faith in God and understanding of His plan grew by leaps and bounds. Likewise, serving as a counselor here during VBS here at Prince of Peace has deepened my understanding and relationship about God. When I was helping kids for a whole week learn about God, I felt that I was understanding and growing my faith along with them. I felt that I was leading them to a better, more fulfilled life, worshiping God and striving to do good so they can live according to His purpose. It truly helped me get closer to God to help the kids in our church and the community know the love that He has for us. I remember what brought our family to be members of Prince of Peace was a wonderful experience at VBS 5 years ago. It's an honor to try to play a similar part in the lives of others. My faith in God continues to be strengthened and shaped through the process of me believing and trusting in Him during hardships. 5 years ago, my dog Griffin was diagnosed with cancer in his back right leg. We took him to the vet in town after noticing a small bump on his leg. Because he was so young and healthy, we didn't think too much about the bump. When it didn't go away after a few months, we took him to the vet. Once the doctor got a sample of the cells from the bump and looked at it under a microscope, she told us that he had mast cell cancer. The first thing everybody in my family thought when we heard the news was that he was going to die. For the next 2 months, my family and I spent lots of time talking, crying, and praying together. In that short span of a couple months, my belief in God grew, and I especially felt more connected to Him through this process. In the end, Griffin had to have his leg amputated in order to live. Even to this day, I'm amazed to see him run and swim with 3 legs. Griffin has also served as a conversation starter and example to others of strength through adversity. After this happened, I trusted God a lot more because at that time, I knew that He had a plan for me. And even if things were not going my way at that exact moment, God would help me no matter what. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6 says, "Be determined and confident. Do not be afraid of them. Your God, the Lord Himself, will be with you. He will not fail or abandon you." During my journey through life and spreading God's word, I must have strong faith, but I cannot journey alone. My grandparents are very firm believers in God. When they raised my dad, they involved him in every church event. In addition to sports, my dad spent much of his childhood at church, singing in the choir, visiting nursing homes, and other outreaches. So now, whenever my brother and I go to spend a week by ourselves at the grandparents' house, they always involve us in godly acts. One time they had us memorize all the 10 Commandments, and also they had us memorize various Bible verses. Each year they reserve a day to go see the new sight and sound production. All these things that they do for the church and for God also influence my family's spiritual behavior. If it was not for them, we would not be saying grace before every meal, participating in or going to church. Along my journey, I want to be surrounded by people, like my grandparents, who will do anything to make sure that they are sharing God's love with others. Through my faith journey, I am learning to fulfill God's plan for me and spreading His word. Just as in the book of Acts, when people were speaking different languages so they could go spread God's word to lots of different people, I feel that God wants me to tell the story of Him and His Son, not just to other Christians, but to people who do not believe in Him. Along this journey, I will be surrounded with the people that I look up to and people I love. It is important to tell that I tell people about God so they can know the comfort of a life lived according to God's plan. As stated in Mark 16:15, go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. If I lead by example, I can be a light to others and help spread God's love to the world.
Faith can mean many things in many contexts. For example, having faith that you didn't fail that test in school, or having faith that you're going to meet new people and make new friends in a new school, or having faith in God. For me, faith is knowing and trusting in something. Having faith means acting on faith as well. Having faith in God means that you go out into the world and do good deeds just as God would. For example, this past summer, I went on the youth gathering trip to Houston with 7 other youth members of this church and 4 other adults of the church. There are 30,000 people there. We were able to do many things in a short 4 days, such as building long-lasting relationships between us 12 from Prince of Peace, making new friends and building stronger connections with other Lutherans around our own community, and helping out a school in the Houston area by doing outdoor projects and organizing supplies and cleaning up the inside of the school as well. Being with these 30,000 other people, many of them within the same or close to the same age as myself, I felt myself having faith and feeling that God was with us all and was empowering us to do good work in the community and make connections with others. That faith was like a trust in God being with us all, and I trust that He would help us to continue to live our faith out and keep doing His work in our communities when we return home. In addition to doing work at the youth gathering in Houston this year, I've been participating in a club at school. The Leo Club is a club that does many activities and services to help the community and environment. For example, every year right before Thanksgiving, we go out and help the Lions Club to make Thanksgiving baskets for the less fortunate people. Being able to help others is a quality I believe makes the Leo Club one of the more special clubs in the whole high school. In church, we are taught that God loves everyone, no matter what race, gender, or social status they are. And the Leo Club truly exhibits that love through the services they do to give a helping hand to those who may be struggling. These experiences have made me see faith in a new way. Faith doesn't mean just going to church and saying you believe in God, but rather going to church and believing in God and then going out into the world and doing His work and proclaiming His word. Faith is acting upon a belief in God and doing what He would do. I've definitely come a long way since starting my journey through confirmation and my relationship with God. When I first started confirmation, all I thought about was having to meet at the church at 6 p.m. every other Sunday for almost 3/4 of a year for 2 years. I wasn't quite sure what we were going to do, and I was uncertain if I wanted to go to all the meetings. But what I didn't think about was how this journey of confirmation would completely change my relationship with God. Before confirmation, I went to church most Sundays, and I never really thought about my faith very much. However, over the next 2 years with my confirmation group, we would go on a retreat 2 times, help out by delivering food to people in Washington, D.C., and help out a man of food bank, and help serve pancakes during the church's pancake night 2 times, and analyze and be able to understand the many parts of our service and the 10 Commandments. Now, I feel so much closer to God than I could have ever been without confirmation. Without confirmation, I wouldn't be able to understand the importance of what we say when we recite the Lord's Prayer right before communion, or understand the Apostles' Creed. Confirmation has made me grow in faith with God and made me realize that just going to church doesn't make you strong in faith, but being able to go through the experience of learning all about the Lord, whether it is at church at 6 p.m. about the Apostles' Creed, or on a retreat being able to connect to God through reflection and other activities that grow upon between other people. Once again, faith can have many meanings in many contexts. Many people use it in the same way as having hope or wishfully thinking something will happen. But what good is it to just wish for something when you can go out and do something? A verse in the Bible that I think demonstrates what I mean is Acts chapter 20, verse 35. where it says, "In all this, I have given you an example, that by such we must support the weak, remembering the words of the Lord Jesus, for he himself said, 'It is more blessed to give than to receive.'" This portrays the mindset of, instead of just waiting for God to come to you, maybe you should go out into the community and do something that God would do. By doing that, you might even find God and establish faith through an activity done. Because just waiting for something to happen isn't going to help you, which is what I learned. And I'm ready to continue this journey of faith after confirmation and keep on making a difference in the community using my faith in God, such as continuing in the Leo Club where we help the weak, as the verse said, and volunteering my time with food banks and other places where I can make a good impact in people's lives. I can't do it alone, but I have many people such as my mother who volunteers her time on Fridays to work with Gaithersburg Help to guide myself. My faith has developed in many places as I look back so far, but it started right here in Pennsylvania.